afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday. Happy Memorial Day. May 27, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. For those of you who were not able to register for the PAO seminar yesterday, I'd like to hear it. Go to weareonelightforall.net, our website. Go to the TFCC box, and halfway down you will see special presentation. You can click on the link to register, and it will take you to the page where you can pay the $20 to receive the replay link. I shared some first-time information about the technologies yesterday on that webinar. We'll be having a Time for Change call this Wednesday, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. All of us are on it's a discovery constantly, or rediscovering all the things that we are, combined into one that we call pure consciousness, God. And we'll go through lifetimes and still not get it. And we go through repeat after repeat throughout the ages. Why is that? You might think that, well, maybe we would, even though we don't have currently any recollection of past lives, you would think that we would hit it and discover that, hey, wait a minute here, I've learned all I can from the material physical world, so where else is there to go? It's like a quote from Osho: in a single moment, in one stroke, you can become enlightened. It is not a gradual process, because enlightenment is not something that you have to invent. It is something that you have to discover. It's already there with every one of us. It is not something that we have to manufacture. If you have to manufacture it, of course, it will take time, but it is already here. All you got to do is close your eyes and see it there. Be silent and have a taste of it. Your very nature is what I call enlightenment. Enlightenment is not something alien outside you. It is not somewhere else in time and space. It is you. Your very core. Osho. Everything is us. And we are everything. You start to understand that the reason that you can manifest anything you desire through the heart-mind is because it's already there. It's already there. Our natural state of being is total surrender, forgiveness with ourselves, and to just be in a state of pure bliss. That's when we connect with our God. And what is pure bliss? Is it intermittent? No, it's constant. Pure bliss is always. It's part of the ingredients that make us gods up. Love, bliss, joy, happiness, total contentment, peace, tranquility, benevolence. Yeah, there's a lot of people that believe that benevolence is weak. That passive people are weak. And you got to be strong. So in order to be strong, you got to be aggressive and demanding and many things. And of course, that's what society dictates to us. And we look at society and go, what is society made up of? Years and years and years of people's thoughts, which is the human psyche, which is then connected to all these thoughts that come in with us every day. And see, then we choose, you either choose or you continue with what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're evolving right before our own eyes. And we're slowing down. Now, it doesn't seem that way, see, because the collective consciousness has accelerated what we call time on this planet. And the planet, and has also accelerated the planet spinning. And the planet is spinning so fast that time cannot keep up with it. Many people across the planet are experiencing this. Why is that happening? Why are we doing that? Because we've decided that it's time for the grand finale. That's pretty much as simple as it gets. And what's the grand finale? The end of pure evil on this planet. So some people believe that they're not participating, that they want to do something, they want to do more, or they want to do this, or want to do that. And they feel kind of like, what do I do, what can I do? And in true reality, all of us are doing this. Not the bodies that we're in, but the gods that we are, which is part of the collective consciousness. And this involves all beings throughout all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. So all species throughout existence, because we're part of that. So we look at things, and many of us aren't doing it from, let's say, consciously. We're doing it unconsciously or subconscious. Some are doing it consciously. And the drive here, and of course we've helped ourselves with creating the photon energy field, which is photonic light, that we're all going through, and we will be going through for the next few thousand years. So you can see how things have been put into place very finitely, and how things have been accelerated. It's not a rush, though. See, this isn't rushing things. It's accelerating to the grand finale so that we can move from there. And it is what all of us focus on. That's crucial. See, because we know that our ego mind is flood in, throw all these thoughts, right? Many of us grab those thoughts and move them into form, create them into our reality, and then we experience them. So all those thoughts, which aren't ours. And some of them get pretty tricky, so we think they're ours, and then we experience them. But see, we're learning at an accelerated rate now, because we're starting to figure out that, okay, the ego mind is a tool, and I will use this tool until I don't need it anymore. And I won't have to tell it to go. It will go on its own. And our true home is within. See, we're on this journey, right? Where is our true home? It's the God that we are. That's our home. Whoever we're at home. Doesn't matter, physically where we're at, but spiritually, we're always home. And that's when you'll hear, our journey to home. The journey is discovering that we are the home, that the God that we are is our home. And to learn that the body we know is temporary. But we also want our bodies to be what? Really, really, really good. Now, do we as gods know that when we enter these bodies that we're not going to be in them long? We have no memory of that. We don't know. We have no clue. When you go into a baby body, are you sitting there going, well, I got about 80, 90 years in this body? And see, to us gods, 80, 90 years is like a drop of water in a vast ocean. Truly. For instance, if you're raised and you believe that, let's say, $30,000 is a lot of money, right? And you focus on that and you concentrate on that. And to you, it's a heck of a lot of money. Now, if someone comes along and says to you, that's not a lot of money. And you go, well, I beg to differ. Me, this is a lot of money. Well, if I were to tell you the reason that you don't make more than you would like is because you have narrowed yourself in your beliefs and your ego mind is controlling the process. And so when someone says to you, here's $1 million, and that totally blows that being away because they've been always concentrating on $30,000. You see the difference there? Now, if you look at society and you look at the last, 8 years? Do you remember a time when you were growing up where you heard people throwing around 100 trillion or trillions of dollars? No one talked about it. In fact, most people talked about millionaires. And that was the epitome of success and wealth, being a millionaire. And now it's a billionaire and trillionaire. And they throw around like trillions of dollars like it's just regular every day. So the impact for us isn't as great as it used to be because we adapt and we become used to these numbers and figures. So we don't really pay much attention to it. It's like on these foreign currencies and then the ZIM, and you say to somebody, well, yeah, that's $100 trillion. It doesn't register. Well, maybe I should get more of them. To conceive $1 trillion would be, what is $1 trillion? I need more. Do you realize that $1 trillion is 1,000 billion? It's comprehension because we've been so focused on what we've been taught rather than what is true. So the point is that our limitations, where do our limitations come from? Where we only believe certain things can happen, and that's it. If something takes us beyond that, we look at it as being ludicrous and ridiculous and too good to be true. And we create that. See, we create that. Because that's what we believe. Now, more and more people are removing their limitations. They don't have any. Genuinely. Not just to say it, but deep within and through their heart mind. They're eliminating their limitations. They no longer believe that that there are limits, because they're not. If you believe there's a limit, right, then that limit will control you, and you will manifest that limit for yourself. It's like someone will say to themselves, I'll never get there. You know, how did you do that? I could never do that. And they never do. That's what's so interesting. We look for answers. All of us do. Right? We have some that we believe that we can rely on. But there are certain times where we don't have any answers for it. So we seek outside of ourselves to see if we can find appropriate answers. Now, if someone gave you $1 million, it would be great. It would be phenomenal. You'd be, but then you would say, that's not going to last long. Right? A lot of people say it. They worry about not having it, even when they just received it. What would happen? They would create. They would focus on worrying about not having it and say that they don't want it to go away, and they end up with it being gone. See, we have such a phenomenal power within us that we're just not using. We're not using it. We're not using the power. Most of us aren't using the power at all. In fact, we don't believe that we have the power. Oh, that's just silly. That, you know, that stuff's all made up. It doesn't exist. You're not powerful. Yeah. What movies have you been watching? See? Or they view it as, well, how much can you lift and weight and you know, how strong are you to do that? Physical strength. And we're talking about spiritual strength. We're high vibratory beings. That's our natural state. So think about this. We all maneuver on this planet, do our thing here and there, interact. And we kind of go through the steps, right? You know, how society dictates this and this, how other people think and feel about you, you know, how that dictates your life and how you're going to operate in that life, right? And then one day, let's say you're sitting out on some flatland somewhere out in the woods, or you're looking at nature, and it just comes to you. And you say to yourself, this is not me. Because we become the body and we forget about the God. That's how it happens. We become the body and we forget about the God. Someone might say, how do you know that? Look at how many people maybe you've experienced that were getting ready to leave the body and how frightened they became. And they wouldn't, not that they expressed it, but you could see it in their eyes. Would you be frightened knowing that you really did know that you were a supremely powerful, omnipotently powerful, supreme being that never dies? Would you be frightened to leave the body? No, you wouldn't. Because you would know that the body was temporary. And that you're only going to be in it for a short period of time to experience it. What would happen if people leaned into the God that they are rather than the body? Then you wouldn't have this. The only reason we have that fright at the end of our stay in these bodies is because we don't know that we're gods in the body and not the body. We don't know. So it's huge unknown, and and then we go into the matrix. The heaven, all those things, long past relatives, pets, and all that stuff. And it's matrix. So what does it do to us? Or maybe you could say for us, well, we stay asleep. We don't know what we are, even after we leave the body. Because if we did, it'd be a whole different ballgame. So we go through this cycle for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, if not millions or billions, or even trillions. And there is one thing that also really causes us to be frightened, is attachment. We get so attached to these bodies, and we get out of balance because we're into the bodies and not the God that we are in the body. So we get this great attachment. And what happens when we have these attachments is, we suffer. What do? We worry, or stress-free fear, we have anxiety. We have a tendency to migrate towards negative thinking, stinking thinking. And then none of us are exempt from it, say. It's something, oh, no, I don't do that. No, I don't do that. We all do it. Every one of us. But what's the key here? We know it. We begin to become aware. There's always someone that says, how do you step out of the mind? How do you leave the mind alone when it's there all the time? And there's only one way to do it: meditate. You move into the heart mind in meditation, and you drop out of the mind. You're not in the mind. You're watching the mind, which means thoughts start coming in, right? And you're sitting there and you're going about your business, and you get these thoughts that come in. Well, before you would just take them in and experience them. But now you're going, that is not my thought. You will know it, innately know it. It's not a judgment. It is a basic, innate knowing where you will say, that is not my thought. That's an ego mind thought. And you know what will happen? It just vanishes. No matter how many thoughts come in during the course of a day, an hour, you'll be able to identify them. It's part of being who you really are in that body. So that's an ego mind thought. I'm not interested in that thought. And then, of course, it'll seduce you, and these other thoughts will come in with your name and an event or something, and you'll get really, really clear. And you'll say, that's not my thought. Now, before, you would have brought that thought in as yours. This is how we get confused and caught up with ourselves. Because we're taking in so many thoughts that we believe are ours. And it's kind of like reckless abandon. See, we're not in charge. We're not in charge. The ego mind's in charge. And we get swept up by it. But yet, this is our path of discovery and rediscovery in who and what we really are in these bodies. So this is what happens. And do we choose to do it? Absolutely. No one's going to make you do it. We know that. No one's going to force you. No one's going to trick you. Doesn't matter what guru you go and interact with. You'll do it because you want to do it. That's it. And because childlike curiosity will start appearing in front and center, and you're going to be curious. You want to know. You see, we become more and more aware. Not just about everything around us, see. We know we've created that. That's a huge understanding for this civilization. That we've all participate, we continue to participate, whether it be unconscious, subconscious, or conscious, and literally changing the very existence of this planet. How life will be. Why? Because we deem it, we focus on it. We pay attention to it. We're aware. And you see what you're doing? You're beginning to manage the ego mind. That's what's happening. And it's not like you're angry or ticked off or anything. You are saying, I got to know about this. And I want to know about it. And I'm going to discover what it's there for, what it's about. And then you will. You'll discover it's that it was put there with the body. The body is created, right? And we go into the body, and we don't have the ego mind yet, but eventually it comes in. And then we become aware that we're the ones in command. It's a step-by-step process. Within the heart, mind, we start to identify the fact, wow, this ego mind has been running me forever. And I never knew it. And most of us don't. And some of us are adamant and say, no way, no way. And I've had some people say, well, ego mind's just made up. It's just made up. Well, I don't have an ego mind. Really? No, I don't have an ego mind. And then a little bit of time goes by and you witness their ego mind. We all have ego mind. We haven't gotten to that step where it says to us, I'm no longer needed here, so I'm gone. And once you can do that, once you can say, I'm going to leave the mind alone, the more you leave the mind alone, the more you come into focus about who and what you are, what you're here for, all across the board. So it's not like we used to do, we would shove spirituality, because we didn't understand it, in a corner and embrace religion. And what is religion? Material, physical. It's created by man. What was religion created for? What was the motivation for religion to be created? Well, at first it wasn't money. At first it was a desire from the creator of the religion. They wanted certain things for themselves, but they couldn't. The only way they could figure out to get those things is to start their own religion. Thousands of religions are started every day on this planet, but they can never get off the ground. But we still have tens of thousands of religions on this planet. This is all part of mastering the mind. Okay? Mastering it. Of being aware of your thoughts. Being aware of all the thoughts. So when a thought, you know when that thought comes in, you go, that's it, and you eliminate it. And you're grateful that you have that clarity to eliminate it. You no longer push things in the closet. Issues you have with yourself and emotional upheavals that you've experienced, brokenness, disappointment, dejection, and stuffing them in a closet. And hopes that they'll just disappear. And we carry that, and it becomes real heavy for us. There's sometimes when you feel, you might be doing something, and all of a sudden you say, wow, why do I feel so tired? All of a sudden, right? Just all of a sudden comes in. It's because you're carrying way too much. And your God's letting you know, you got to get rid of this stuff. It's not serving you the greater good. And no one can do that but see you. You do a little bit at a time. You have a roundtable discussion with maybe 5 of your fears, 6 of your fears. Sit down with all of them and discuss why they're there and what they truly need. You can see how we become distracted, right? Distraction is from what we've created outside of ourselves to experience. And it draws us in. When we let go, I mean truly let go of things, let go of our fears and worries and everything, means that we leave the ego mind alone and we feel a peace, and we cannot detect any fear anymore. That's when you are the God again, and everything comes in. And anything that you focus on comes in lickety-split. See, it's like someone could say to you, you're so powerful, you could dissipate that hurricane. Now, most people would say, this being's a Fruit Loop. They're crazy or nuts. Now, how am I supposed to do that? And that response is due to what? We don't know that we're a God in the body. We think we're just the body. So we look at the body and say, okay, how am I going to stop that? How am I going to dissipate it? It's done every day on this planet. It's done every day. One might say, well, wouldn't that get confusing, or wouldn't that get too full? Everybody could, do this and do that with the weather, and it would just become a total mess. No, because you are in the heart-mind. That's the crucial part. If you were an ego mind, absolutely it'd be chaos. But in the heart-mind, no. You would say, let's say you're in a little village maybe, and it's a few hundred people there, and you kind of know everybody, and you say, wouldn't it be nice if right now we had a fresh snowfall? And everybody says, yeah, that'd be great. So you create a fresh snowfall, and the snow comes. But see, when you do it through the ego mind, what follows? Frustration, disappointment, anxiety. Or you say, wouldn't it be great if we had a stretch of clear, blue, sunny skies, perfect temperature? And everybody say, yeah, wouldn't that be great? You create it. You won't be able to if you're in the ego mind. It's not going to happen. Period. You could try and be hard and work and do whatever you can, and it doesn't happen. And it doesn't take effort. It really doesn't. You focus on it in detail, and it happens. And you're doing it because everybody wants it. Let's say most everybody. And so this planet that we're currently residing on is changing. Why? Because of us. Because of us. Do you believe that you can stop whatever agendas you currently have with your life? Let go of everything you thought to be real or true, and entertain the possibility that who you are is an undefinable, infinite being. An undefinable, infinite being. Not all these labels, not all these names. Those are all gone. An eternal soul that was never born and thus will never, ever, ever, ever die. And by taking this dynamic leap in your consciousness into letting go of all limiting ideas about yourself, what happens? You'll soon find the enlightened state blossoming within you. For a lot of us, that's a lot to do, right? It goes against how society has formed us. And you ask yourself, will I and can I do something completely radical with how I'm typically spending my time? Will I, can I stop whatever agendas currently having with my life? Do I believe, have trust, do I have trust, confidence, and faith in myself at 100% level to let go of everything I thought to be real or true and entertain the possibility that who I am is an undefinable infinite being? You're not human. Even that word is skewed, that label. And then you understand that you're actually an eternal soul that was never born and thus will never, ever, ever die. Ever. You ask yourself, right? It's something in the quiet time in this meditation. This is a major dynamic leap in our consciousness into letting go of all limiting ideas about ourselves. And this is exactly how every one of us will discover that we are enlightened beings. And we always have been and always will be. Now, you do not care to let this idea that your personal problems and life issues are blocking you from your natural state. Think of them like, we ever walk on the beach, right? And you think you got rid of all the sand, and it might be flip-flops or beach shoes you put on. And for some reason, a couple of those grains of sand got caught in between your toes. That's where the real tender skin is. And it drives you nuts. And then you have perspiration, so they get sticky. So you try to get them out. So you think you get them out, and you go, nope. They're still there. So, depending on how you move through this life, these grains of sand will either grind or massage your feet. And the most challenging people in your life, which many of us kind of fight with, the people in our lives that are the most challenging are our greatest teachers in disguise. Simply take the approach to explore every experience in your life with a genuinely open mind and childlike curiosity. Stick to this like super glue, and you'll eventually you'll reconnect with your enlightened state. This life, all life, has an incredible wisdom to download into our consciousness that's bigger than what we can conceive of. This entire world has been designed to enlighten us, heal us, empower us, and dissolve you, your ego. Quote from Amachi, "The sun shines down, and its image reflects in 1,000 different pots filled with water. The reflections are many, but they are each reflecting the same sun. Similarly, when we come to know who we truly are, we will see ourselves in all people." If you haven't already begun to understand that, you will. There's no way you won't. And the most challenging people in your lives that you could ever remember are your greatest teachers. And there are those that say, "I don't think so. I couldn't stand this person. I got away from him." But what did you learn? See, we flip the switch and we say, what am I learning from this being? What am I learning from them? What are they teaching me? I mean, when you start to really embrace all of this across the board, and you're really going to discover how phenomenal this life is. It is. It always has been. Do you feel challenged all the time? I don't mean intense all the time, but just challenged in your life. Certain things. You might be talking with someone, and their perspective is, for you, their perspective is so out there that you're doing what you can to be as respectful as possible, but you just don't agree with it, which is fine. And what will happen to every one of us when we reach this discovery within us that we've always been magnificently bright beings, we will see how everything is connected to a cosmic intelligent web of energy, love, and information that physically exists between every atom in this universe. An exponentially increasing flow of deep inspirational insights happens with every thought which passes through. It is unimaginable, yet the moment you let go of this small limiting identity, who we've been conditioned to believe is us and dive deeper into trusting this omnipresent intelligence, our inner light switches on. And we know it because our body becomes deeply relaxed and our mind becomes supremely empty, soft, and receptive to every possible experience that flows our way. See, along the way, this is our part of our journey. So it's like the trees and the birds and the bees, and we got this television. We're looking straight ahead, and we're just running to beat the band to get to someplace. And then there's some of us that say, I'm not going to do that. I want to see everything along the way. I might take this road off here and go explore over here and interact that. And I'll come out on the main drag again, and I'll just head on out. But I'll do it very quietly. I'll do it very quietly. See, this universe is constantly here guiding us, helping us to remember, and helping us reawaken the realization of our awesome, true, radiant selves. That's what we are. We're radiant beings. We shine constantly. I think we all know that. You get into a certain kind of let's say a picture. Our eyes can't pick it up yet, but a picture, right, of you. And you'll see how you glow. See, dramatically shift. This is into a higher enlightened state with what we're doing. And that's what we're doing. We're shifting. And we're going within ourselves to discover all this. And then you start embracing and understanding without limitations that we're the ones that's making this change. We're the ones doing it all. The gods that we are. And we all know that doesn't take bombs and destruction. That's the pure evil side. But the deep eternal love is the most powerful force that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond and forever. So what are we doing? We're gods. We're a paradise within this body. So what are we doing? Well, we're turning the body into a paradise that houses the God, which is a paradise, and then the planet, which is a paradise. So we're creating a God-planet paradise in this very moment that we're in right now, and we're continuing to amp it up. And all we've got to do, really, is a natural state of being, so it's not a forced thing. It's our natural state of being. So we focus on it. We're not doing this through the mind and the ego. We're doing it from our heart and mind, which is the doorway to the God that we are. So we go, okay, this is what I want. This is how I want my life to be. This is how I'd like this planet to be for everyone. This is what's making the changes. Not believe it is something outside you or something up there. You, all of us, are making this transition. Why? Because we've come to the understanding that it's time to do so. That's as simple as it gets. We're returning to our God planet paradise, and we're returning to the paradise that we are within these bodies. It doesn't mean that we're leaving what we create to entertain ourselves, okay? To go in a cave and sit there for eternity. No, we create this to enjoy it. Join in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. For all of us, stop running and take a deep breath. You can get off the treadmill of life. Where are you running to? Just check inside and notice how the present moment is perfect. There is nothing you have to be, have, or do for this life to be better. Life is already gloriously blissful in every way. You are just running too fast to see the beauty. Take off your running shoes and enjoy what is. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Tuesday, May 28, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, and be open for the magic to flow into you.